as we're speaking, the news we're getting in the US about Europe is that Europe's falling apart. There's no creativity, super high taxes, the tariff war is going to maybe significantly hurt certain countries, unrestricted immigration, specifically from the Middle East and Africa coming into Europe, and Europe's more or less being invaded. So this narrative that we're receiving, especially as investors and travelers in the US, is like, oh my God, Europe is falling apart. And then Austin, what you articulated, that's not the case. And in Denmark's case, this is a society that as Americans, we don't really understand really well because it just operates differently, but somehow Denmark works. And I guess that's what I really want to find out, like how it works. And you being kind of this person that straddles Colombia, Denmark, and the US, I think you have a unique perspective on how to tell us to look at Denmark and parts of Europe in a different way than we're being told in the media right now.
Many ways to approach this, but just to talk about how the society works. So post World War II, some reforms are passed to create what is known as the welfare state, just simplifying this. Meaning we're going to tax our residents, our citizens very, very hard, but we're going to equalize the society, and we're going to promise a lot of benefits to the future generations, meaning the first people that paid into the system never really got to enjoy these benefits. It came later on. So it's been a long vision, something that they've been building on for 50, 60, 70 years. One part that is very important is that Denmark is a high trust society. And there is a saying where we have in Denmark where they say it's okay for the widest shoulders to carry the biggest burden, meaning Danish people are okay with contributing more in taxes if you're earning more in order to benefit the overall society. So I think Denmark is a very collectivist mindset. It's very, I wouldn't say, yeah, it is socialist. It's one of the few places where socialism might even work, but it is very collectivist in this form of thinking. And like I could talk to my mom about this and she would say, yeah, Patrick, but we are the ones that can, and that's the reason we should. And that is very much like she thinks in the greater good before she thinks of herself. Where I think the United States and many other economies around the world, they're more individualist. They think more about themselves before they think of society as a whole. So, but taxes in Denmark are pretty insane, at least from an American point of view. And just to give you a couple of examples, like marginal income tax can hit 55%, personal income tax. Corporate tax is 22%. Dividend tax up to about $10,000 is 27%. Anything above that is 42%. Sales tax is 25%. We have up to 180% taxes on vehicles. Then you have an ongoing annual tax depending on how much carbon emissions that your vehicles are letting out. We have inheritance taxes that range from 15 to 36%. We have taxes on livestock depending on how much CO2 emissions that they emit. So it's taxes everywhere you go. And people have traditionally been okay with that. And I think right now, and one of the reasons that the Social Democrats are being forced to reanalyze their stance on immigration is that when you have a small city or a small country with a little less than 6 million people, and you have about 10% of them, meaning about 600,000 people that come from what they call a non-Western background, which means mostly the Middle East, they're very, very hard to integrate into society. They have a different view on societal norms. They have a different view on women. They have a different view on work. They have a different view on the perception of time. They have a different view on, let's say, business dealings and so forth. And that has been creating some issues in society. And I think the Danes are okay with paying a lot of taxes to take care of the Danes. But now it's not just the people from the Middle East. Now they're also receiving thousands and thousands of people from Ukraine. And I think that they feel that their society is becoming burdened by these extra challenges that come when you allow so many people to integrate into society.